So for the general information of our audience, we would like to ask some questions. This is in relation to when you are entering police custody. The first question is, do you have to go with the police to the station if they stop you and they say they want to talk to you but down at the station?
Technically, no. You do not have to go with them unless they actually arrest you. But I would ordinarily advise that you cooperate with the police as much as possible, but as a safeguard for yourself and to ensure that if issues do arise, you're properly represented, you should take the opportunity to call a family member or a friend or even an attorney that you may know to ensure that proper representation can be given to you and to ensure that if matters do arise, criminal matters do arise, and there's a possibility of criminal charges, that your interests can be properly represented throughout.
Can the police arrest you because they suspect you committed a crime?
Yes, they can. All they must have is a reasonable suspicion that you committed a crime, and they can arrest you. However, the power that they have to arrest will depend on the type of crime. So there are some crimes for which are known as arrestable offenses, or offenses which, according to general law, a person can be immediately arrested for, such as a breach of the peace. Even an offense such as murder, an arrest can take place without a warrant. However, there are others that a warrant must be issued in order for the person to be arrested, and those warrants would ordinarily be signed by a justice of the peace. The police would go to that justice of the peace and indicate what information they have and the basis that they have for needing to arrest this person for this particular offense, and the warrant would be signed by the justice of the peace if he or she is so satisfied.
Once under arrest, what are your rights?
Once you're under arrest, of course, you are entitled to have an attorney present throughout the questioning. You're entitled, in some instances as well, to have a friend present as opposed to simply an attorney. One of the other things that you're entitled to be fed and to make sure there are facilities there for those things to take place. And you must also understand that whatever you say can be taken down in writing and used against you. So you have a right ultimately to remain silent throughout the investigations, or of course you can choose to state your particular position.
How long can the police keep you without charging you?
There's no specific time frame. The courts will determine what is reasonable based on the circumstances of the case. It is quite usual, especially in a murder investigation, for a person to be in custody for in excess of 4 or 5 days because of the extent of the things that need to be done in order to complete the investigation. There are things that involve questioning, yes, but there are aspects of the investigation that have to be conducted, including having a psychiatrist confirm that you are fit to plea, ensuring that you go and you view the scene. All of those are things that can take quite a bit of time. Obviously, in a more trivial matter, such as a matter of simple theft, you would expect that a person would go to court in a much shorter period, perhaps in 2 to 3 days. But there is no specific time frame. It will just depend on the circumstances. If time passes and it appears to be unreasonable, of course, an attorney can make an application to the High Court for the individual to be released, unless just cause can be shown for why they should be kept longer than the time that they've spent already.
If the police arrest you, but they subsequently do not charge you, what can you do?
It honestly depends on the circumstances. If you are arrested and they investigate and they discover that you are not guilty of an offense and they release you, I suppose you will have two options. The first option only arises where they never really had a reasonable suspicion that you committed an offense. If the police simply come and they arrest you without having a basis for it, for connecting you to this particular offense, then you might have an option in terms of malicious prosecution. You might have an option in terms of unlawful arrest or unlawful imprisonment. Those are options that are available to you. However, once they have a reasonable suspicion, that suspicion itself might not necessarily lead to you being charged if information comes to light that shows that you're not involved. In that case, you actually don't have any particular recourse, because the police obviously are entitled to conduct their investigations and to ensure that all persons who could possibly be responsible for a particular offense are questioned and have an opportunity to state their position.